Hello everybody. In this video, I'd like to share a few thoughts about your presence as a coach. In the ICF core competencies, coaching presence is defined as the coach's ability to be fully conscious and create spontaneous relationship with the client, employing a style that is open, flexible, and confident. My belief is that presence is actually a coaching super skill in that it is foundational. It gives rise to many of the other coaching skills. And high levels of coaching presence can facilitate very powerful coaching, and lower levels can impede powerful coaching. Now, in our coach training, we learn many skills to help us design productive working relationships with clients, high trust relationships with clients. We learn how to listen well, how to ask questions that raise awareness and facilitate learning, growth, and ultimately, better results. And in all competent coaching, there is a mix of doing and being, and there's some discernible level of presence. And when have been around coaching for a while, or you know a lot of coaches, you've experienced a lot of coaching, perhaps you supervise or mentor other coaches that are applying for ICF credentials or certifications. You get to see a wide range of personalities and coaching styles and kind of approaches to coaching. And to generalize, there's certain patterns or kind of recognizable levels of kind of confidence with various degrees of coaching presence. I find that very often in coaches at the early stage of their career, they tend to naturally put a lot of attention on themselves, perhaps worrying whether they're creating enough value, worrying, where's this conversation going? Am I going to run out of questions? And at this level, coaches can tend to talk more. They spend a great deal of energy finding useful steps for a client or on accountability. But the coaching can feel like it's on the surface of things. It can feel a bit mechanical or forced, as if somehow the coach had some mental checklist of items they needed to get through in any particular call. And there's a lot more doing in the call than there is being. There's not a lot of raising awareness. There's kind of little transformation evident. And there's sure as heck not much coaching presence evidence. And at this end of the spectrum, if the coaching relationship were a dance, the coach would be kind of leading the client. They'd be staying in one spot in the dance floor, and the coach would be stepping on a lot of toes. So that's pretty normal. We all start there. And yet, at the other end of the spectrum, as the coach's competence grows, as their confidence grows, as they integrate more of what they've learned into their own experience and their own personality, it's like a unique style emerges. You can feel their coaching presence emerge too. And in these coaching conversations, typically, because every coaching session is different, but typically there's more depth to the work. There's more emotions present in the coaching. And so there's more emotions able to harness. And this translates into more spaciousness in the coaching. There's more trust and connection in the relationship. The communications with clients are more intuitive. They're more spontaneous. There's far more of the coach's attention focused on the client. And you can sense just greater ease or greater curiosity and kind of appreciation for what's showing up in this particular moment, in this particular coaching session. Naturally, all the other coaching skills, listening, for example, benefits hugely from increased presence. Questions seem to come from a deeper, wiser, more intuitive place. And they unearth what's really important to the client. It's like, the coach develops like a Geiger counter that homes in on what's most alive in the client, what's most alive in this human being. And that, of course, leads to much more meaty coaching and more transformation. So at this level, you could say that the coach and client are deeply grounded in presence, in being present in the moment. And any doing springs out of that greater depth of being. And thus it emerges with more inspiration and more clarity and kind of more knowing that this is the right path. And if we go back to the dancer analogy at this level, the dancers, the coaching client, are like long time partners that completely trust each other, that trust the dance itself, and they're free from scripts, and so you see far more spontaneous coaching. Spontaneous dancing. They're open to explore the dance floor, and they're open to explore their own limits. They're equal partners, and they're fully present. They're fully engaged in creating something beautiful from the dance they share together. So, if presence is a coaching super skill, what cultivates more of it? Well, I believe the practical application of presence comes down to attention, specifically what you give your attention to. If you imagine your attention as a flashlight or a torch, and if as a coach you shine it only on your own thoughts, your hopes, your fears, how you wished it would be, then this is going to mean that there's a lot less attention on your client and whatever's happening in the present moment. And this, of course, translates into low coaching presence and rather low impact coaching. Conversely, if you routinely take your attention off your thoughts and shine it more on what's unfolding now with your coaching client and the coaching process itself, this is going to translate into greater presence and more impactful coaching. Now, as to cultivating more presence, there's a lot of really good science that shows us now that pretty much any reflective or contemplative activity that routinely helps you take your attention off your thoughts, even for a minimum of 10 minutes twice a day, is going to have a noticeable impact. Because when you take your attention off your thoughts and put it on something simple or something present, you're turning off the stress response, you're turning on the relaxation response or the parasympathetic nerve system. And that results in a lessening of your stress, a change in the hormones in your body. There's a subtle quieting down of your mind and naturally an increase in your presence. And if you want more structure around this, these days there are literally hundreds of easily accessible practices, mindfulness practices available online. You're going to be able to find something that fits into your life and kind of fits into your personal style. However, I happen to believe that cultivating greater presence is more than just a learned technique or a periodic mental discipline, although it can start there. I believe that profound presence is actually a quality of spirit. A spirit that really trusts and continually surrenders to the present moment. A spirit that can shine through any variation in human personality, life experience, or life circumstances. This quality of spirit is evidenced in a human by more openness, more transparency, more receptivity, more flexibility, more almost a sense of inner stillness. There's almost a lightness of being, they trust life. This quality of spirit is not looking to the past or the future for happiness. It's not resisting whatever is happening now. It's not needing anything to be different. It's a spirit that says yes to whatever is happening now because it knows it can embrace that, it can create from that, and good things are going to come from it. And this quality of spirit shines through in anyone that has sincerely sought to explore, to understand, to kind of connect with the greater truths of their life. You often see it in people that have embraced significant challenges in their life. There's just a depth to them. And there are many great teachings and many great practices designed to help anyone cultivate more of this sort of presence. So for any of you who might be called to explore these deeper waters and deeper teachings on presence, Just know that they can be called, many names and many different traditions, but generally, they go by names such as, teachings on enlightenment, or teachings on awakening, or definitely mindfulness, or teachings about finding your true self. And there's never been a time when these, esoteric, sometimes ancient teachings have been so easily available. And from my perspective, after about 30 years of being fascinated by these teachings, I tend to agree with the late Joseph Campbell that the best instruction on these topics comes from the Indian subcontinent and many of the old traditions around the Vedic, Advaita, non-dualistic teachings of India. And I know this is a topic that is not of interest to most people, but if you're one in 1,000 that is interested, drop me a note. I'd be happy to point you in the direction of other resources where you can perhaps find a teaching or a teacher, an approach that suits you. However, on today's topic, the topic of coaching presence, I'd just like to summarize by saying, and really reminding you that greater presence is a matter of attention. And I happen to believe that attention is actually a language of love. It's a direct expression of love. So where you give your attention really matters. And it can have a profound impact on your life, on your relationships, and definitely on the coaching work that you do with your clients. Okay, so I hope this has given you a few things to think about in your coaching presence. Please let me know if you've got any questions on this, or there's any other topics that you might like to see in one of these videos. Take care, everybody. Have a great day, and good luck with all your coaching. Bye-bye.